So in this last round, we're just going to go around and just share we're going to do two questions. The first one is just what was the benefits of this empathy circle for you, just for a bit of a testimonial so we maybe can use for promotion. Anybody want to start? Maybe I'll just call on people. Bill, would you be willing to?
Sure. Well, I think that this is the beginning of creating, a space for people to express themselves without recrimination. We are mixed bags. We have strengths and weaknesses. And what I feel we do, and I feel what empathy does, is encourages us to help each other with our functional, positive things and move forward. So I don't want to do, I think we can dwell on past things. We need to get over them, but we need to acknowledge them and then go to a better place.
Okay, thanks. Sam, would you be willing to go?
Sure. I think in general, participating in empathy circles has helped to always expand my mind and perspective on the topic at hand. And I always love learning and hearing from other perspectives, and it always helps to solidify my own, I don't want to say solidify, but just like I feel like I take it in, I mix it up, and then I reform a new, more expanded view of the topic. And I appreciate that mind-opening effect that these discussions have for me.
Okay, thanks. Tyler?
So first of all, thank you, everybody. I do appreciate this stuff. I think what I got out of it, I did do some writing while everybody was talking. I attempted to get some kind of definition of what femininity and masculinity actually are, like mechanically. I had this idea that they're these abstract social ideas that give us sort of an ideal, and they're generated through like a social mechanism of approval. And so there's larger abstract of how we want men and women to behave. And we're in the middle of redefining that, which I think is part of why everybody had we didn't agree on a definition, I don't think. Yeah, I have some more reading and writing to do about all male spaces and the protector role. I wish I could have talked to Bill a little bit more about his story and the importance of training and preparation and the role of violence. We could probably do this for a whole nother couple hours, but I'll stop there. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks. Gail?
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks with me is something I think you mentioned, Edwin, which is I think that empathy and really trying to understand what someone else is thinking, truly putting yourself into their shoes has been highly underrated. And I think we do spend too much time in analysis or in an adversarial stance against people and ideas. And I think if we could try to walk alongside people more than, facing off with them, I think that would serve our society a lot more and a lot better.
Okay, thanks. Alex?
I think that for me, like the biggest thing for empathy circles in general is just the chance of having someone give you their attention for an extended period of time. At least in my personal life, I don't get that very often. People usually want to interject and give their opinion or their reaction, or they want to sympathize, but either way, they're not really fully listening to you, or it doesn't seem that way. So it's just it's a very relieving experience to just have someone kind of listen to you and reflect back and just kind of give you their full attention for even just 5 or 10 minutes or something.
Okay, thanks. Carolina?
Well, first, today I learned that too big group is not that comfortable because not
Yeah.
everybody has opportunity to say again what he or she thinks, which is
Hmm.
important actually because during the talk we kind of develop our thoughts, and I'm quite sure that everybody would like to say more. So this is one thing. Another thing, I feel we were talking today about masculinity and empathy and femininity, femininity. Yeah, and it's actually very crucial topic, very sensitive, very fragile topic, and probably as much important as, for example, climate change. And I'm wondering if we could talk more times about that, because it it applies to everyone, you know. So maybe we shouldn't come back. We should come back to this topic. I'm quite sure we shouldn't abandon that.
Yeah, I'll ask Charles if he. I thought maybe we could even be a monthly topic, so that could be kind of a rich experience. So for me, when we do the empathy circle, I feel like I get into the plumbing of my mind, kind of deeper plumbing, and it kind of reorients versus just watching a video or hearing people talk, watching TV. It's like this, I feel involved, and it's like it seems to go much deeper into my inner psyche and sort of my connection. So, and I also really appreciate the variety of, the more variety of perspectives just makes it a much richer experience. I do like having small groups, like 4 or 5 sort of max, to have more time to speak and to be, and to listen, to speak and have that engagement level. So I do enjoy that. And there's this feeling of, oh, I want to speak more. So, yeah, so I thought one more round, I've been, as a second round question really quickly, like what you were saying, Alex, in terms of things that sort of block you from taking part in an empathy circle, right? There's like, you got work to do, you got other things. What blocks you from kind of being more involved in empathy circles? Just one quick round, it's just, I don't know if you want to start, Alex, maybe just reiterate what you just said, just.
I mean, I can reiterate it, like your work, girlfriend, friends, but I feel like those are all like bullshit excuses to some extent. I don't know what the deeper thing is. Somehow, on an operational day-to-day basis, I'm convinced that this isn't important. I don't know why, but as soon as Monday hits and I go back to work, my brain's going to say, this is what's important. And that empathy circle, that was just a fun little thing that you did.
Okay.
I don't know.
Great. That's good to get an insight. So Bill, do you want to?
Well, I'm keeping my hand in. I've been coming here. I like the practice of it, and I think that that's important, and that helps me. I really was touched by what I think Mark said, that you tend to be less empathetic with people and things like that than in a formal situation, and so I really look to there as to whether I'm improving.
Yeah.
So, and I, I feel like I'm retired, first of all. So, but I do feel that I'm sort of ramping up and getting engaged. And all I can say is that I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the people. I'm enjoying the diversity. And I think the really important thing is maybe we didn't agree necessarily on a definition or something, but I think everybody feels somehow we've moved the agenda forward somehow by listening to each other. And I think that's important. We may not have a definition for that yet, but we feel it, and it's important.
Okay, thanks, Gail. Could you?
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Gail?
it was just, sorry about that. I just had to express myself some way. We just had
Earthquaking.
a little, yeah,
Oh, you
here.
had an earthquake?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sorry, back on. You know, I've actually been attracted to things throughout my adult life in particular, similar to empathy circles. I can see myself continuing to participate. I've had a deep listening practice for 25 years at least, and this is just falls right in line with that. And I actually think that this is the kind of thing that's going to change the world.
Yeah.
I think that I know one of the things that I find also, like in my work with living room conversations, is that there's this deep suspicion that trying to really understand people who think differently than you do, there's this deep suspicion that that doesn't make sense or that concedes something to the other side or whatever. But there's like this suspicion about that I find fascinating and sad. And I actually think that listening is a radical act. It's a radical act of, you know, of trying to make positive change in our society because it's happening so little now. So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Sam?
Yeah, as far as barriers to more involvement, I've been thinking about this personally for myself for a while because I participated in the facilitators training, and I do feel certain blocks in myself, and I'm trying to understand where they're coming from. One thing that occurred to me as I was just listening to everybody speak is, I think for me, like, this is very, like, mentally, I don't want to say draining, but, like, it's mentally energizing, but then I feel, like, fatigued at the end. Like there's so much energy to put in to follow the conversation, to stay present, and the amount of time that's involved. It's very taxing sometimes for me, and I want to figure out how to work through that, because I find myself saying, like, oh, I just don't feel like it, or but I don't want it to be a barrier. I love the places it takes me, and the things I get to think about, and how it helps me reorganize my thinking on things. But yeah, like there's sometimes there's for me personally, like, I get fatigued with having to pay attention for a period of time, and like sometimes I might have boredom and I drift a little bit, and then or I'm just antsy and I have to like get up and move, and it just, for me, it's kind of hard I haven't figured out how to work through that.
Thanks. It's great to hear all that. Thanks for sharing that. Tyler?
I think, yeah, for me, the biggest barrier to entry is time. That, I live in downtown San Francisco and it's very expensive, and I freelance and do Lyft. And so taking 2 hours to do anything out of any day is pretty easy. That's $100 like at least. And so it can be tough to justify. I don't know. Other than that, I started doing this empathy stuff in the wilderness, and it turned me around as a human being. And then I've already talked about the power of it in combat zones where you don't even speak the same language, but we used to play games. You just kick a soccer ball around, and it's a form of empathy. There's a form of communication there, and I think it's extremely powerful, especially in a world where, yeah, like you guys said, people aren't really listening. So yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Carolina?
Well, there is a lot of such things like stress or routine or other things that makes us less able to be empathic and to listen. But actually what Taylor said, time is, I think time is kind of main key factor for being able to participate in our empathy circle, but also to be empathic. If we have no time, if we are in fast, if we are in hurry, we can't be empathic. So the lack of time in our culture might be a main factor of losing and missing empathy.
Okay, well, thanks for that.
And not having time to participate.
Yeah. So it's we want to harvest those sort of blocks so that we can design solutions to them. If we can surface them, then it gives us something to work with, and we can design solutions. So thank you very much. Thanks for going 6 minutes over too. So hope to see you next week, and we'll be continuing every week. Next week is pro-life, pro-choice. So trying to bring
another
more of a contentious. We have some from the different